Well, hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I would like to invite you to come and build a $500 budget-friendly gaming PC at a local micro center. But before that, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe down below, and thank you for watching. So the point of this video is to help you guys out. If you're on a budget and you're looking to spend around $500, this is pretty much a guide for, in my opinion, the best build you could do for $500, especially in these tough times. Yes, you could game pretty well and any kind of game out there at 1080p with this build here that I'm going to show you. Now, for those of you who are lucky enough to live, fairly close, a reasonable distance within the micro center area, which from what I understand, there's not many out there, somewhere around 20 something stores in the whole United States. But I would still say that even if you take a ride, for an hour, hour and a half away from, where you are just to get to the store, I think it's definitely worth it. And this is just a guide to help you out. That way you come prepared and you get an idea of what something would cost to build at this price range. Yeah, so without further ado, let's just get right to it. Of course, the first thing I always recommend is to start off at a processor and a motherboard. So in this case, we're gonna go with the AMD and go to computer parts and choose the AMD processors here. Now I'm sure I'm gonna sound like a bandwagon because AMD right now is pretty much on top, and it's probably the best, for your money processor all around, not only for gaming but for video streaming and video editing. So the value is really there, and they really grew throughout the years, and I'm very impressed. So the thing is, I always like to start off with lowest price to get an idea what's the bottom end and just work my way up down here. And of course, we're going to be choosing this processor here, which is right now the hottest seller, most popular. It's Ryzen 5 2600X, which is 6 core and 12 threads, which is quite a bit performance here for a price like this. Definitely a good deal. And as you could see, when you pair it up with a motherboard, you'll get another $20 off. So you go ahead and choose that, add it to a cart. I already have everything added to the cart, but I just want to show you. If you want to further down the line, go for a better processor, this will be definitely an excellent choice. But we will do that in a different build, which is going to be a little bit higher, a couple of hundred or so. But we're going to get to that another video. So there you have it. You have the processor, and now we're going to choose a motherboard. And we're going to use the same way. Go to motherboards here and choose from the lowest price again to just work our way down. Again, we're on a budget, so we're not going to scroll all the way down. We're never even going to come close to any of these second or third pages. So here we are. And the motherboard I would recommend is a Gigabyte B450. Any of these 450s is good, MSI or Asus or ASRock for a little bit more. But I'm going to keep the budget low. In my opinion, this ASRock is going to be a little bit better for a couple of bucks more. Remember, you're getting $20 off of this. So go ahead and for now just add this Gigabyte B450. And as you can see, there are a little bit better options like the Asus or the ASRock just for a couple of dollars more. Okay, so now we got the platform ready. Next, we could go ahead and go to the desktop memory. Now, why I chose, let me just go back to this again. Why I choose the B450 over the A320s. Definitely don't recommend any of these motherboards, just for a little bit more. Because further down the line, if you ever want to upgrade to the Ryzen 5 3600 or 3600X, this board really supports it well, and you'll get a lot of performance on it. So definitely recommend to stay with this motherboard and not go any lower. I know this is like a couple of dollars cheaper here, and with the discount, the motherboard will come out to like 30 bucks. But this motherboard could be used for a cheaper platform, a cheaper processor, which we're gonna get into that another time. So that's the reason I want to stay with the B450, because down the line you could upgrade to a, Ryzen 5 3600 easily. So that's just wanted to really mention that here. So next we're gonna go ahead and go into the memory. And again, we're gonna go ahead and choose DDR4 here, because they do still have a lot of DDR3s mixed in here, and you don't want to use the ECC here either. So go ahead, choose DDR4, and same strategy, lowest price. And here we have it. We're gonna go ahead and just choose one stick here of 8 gig DDR4 2666, which is good enough for the build we're doing. And for a budget build that we're here, 8 gigs is more than enough for all the 1080p games, unless you're gonna go to 4K or so. So I say 8 gigs is just right, and always down the line you could upgrade for $30 more. So as you can see, the prices are pretty good here. So go ahead and you could add that to basket, and again I'll show you at the end everything, all the prices. Okay, so we're done with the RAM. Next we could go ahead and jump into video cards. And here we're gonna do yet again lowest price, and work our way down. Skip all this here, and there it is. This is probably the best bang for your buck still today. The RX 570, 4 gig, brand new 129, solid card. Again, it will let you play any modern game at 1080p resolution, no problem. There's a couple of other options here, but the GTX 650, the performance is similar to RX 570, but 570 seems like it beats the 1650, and this is more money, so definitely not worth it. I would stay with this. Otherwise, you go to the next level, which is a GTX 1650 Super, but again, that will say that for another build. So go ahead, add that to the cart. So there goes your graphics card. Next, we're gonna go ahead and do the case. Same strategy, lowest price. And here we have a couple options, but in my opinion, this one, Leon Lee 205M, is gonna be just right. It's a beauty. Let me just show you guys. I think it's a definitely beautiful case. It comes with 2 fans, it seems like, front and back. Nice solid case, looks good, and perfect fit for the motherboard we're gonna use. It'll fit like a snug, so you won't have this gap from the end of the motherboard to the power supply shroud here. And it looks really full and clean. I really don't like a really big case with a small tiny motherboard here, and you got all this open space. It really makes the computer look cheap. So you really want to always kind of like match up the motherboard with the case, and that is the perfect motherboard for this case. So go ahead and add that to the cart. And then next we're gonna go right into power supply. Same strategy, lowest to highest, work our way down, and we'll try to get a name brand. In this case I chose the Thermaltake Smart Series 500 watt 80 plus. For the build, this is gonna be perfect. It's a 80 plus rated power supply. I've used this one before. It's good quality. If you only go for $5 more, you could jump into 600 watt. Nothing here in between any good here. And this is the house brand, and this is some other cheap house brand too, so stay away from these. This is a solid power supply. Go ahead, add that to the basket. Next, we're gonna go for the hard drives, and we're gonna run a strategy of a SSD drive for the boot and 1 TB of extra storage for mechanical drive. So go to SSD drive first, and same strategy yet again, lowest to highest. And I would recommend this one here. Go ahead, choose that 120 gig SSD. It's their house brand. It works good for me. I never had issue with these. If you go to M.2, it's a little bit more money, but when I checked the speeds, this one, it was actually faster than this Kingston one. So we're gonna stay with this cheapest budget here. Plenty of room for the operating system, and even have a small file game in there too with some room. Okay, so go ahead, add that. And then we got for the hard drive, which is a mechanical drive, we're gonna go to lowest again, and here we have a few options here. Now I chose this one here, 1 TB. I mean, you have this one too here, brand new. That's a pretty damn good deal. Look at that, for a terabyte. That's awesome price, cheap. But the speed is a little slower, 5900. Or you have a refurbished one, but I chose this one here. I think is the best value. It's a brand new OEM, 1 TB, 7200 RPMs. It's gonna be a best deal overall. So that's gonna be your backup storage, plenty of room for games. Go ahead, add that. And then one last thing that I wanted to add here is a wireless card, which is a very important thing to have. Chances are most of you guys are not going to be right next to the Ethernet port, and maybe you do, so you might skip this part. But I did include that in the build, and I will talk that at the end. We'll talk about that at the end in the basket. If we remove it, that'll be one price. If you keep it, it'll be another price. So same strategy, lowest to highest. And from my experience, you know, something like this is pretty good, high gain. You could just connect it to USB. That's a, you know, AC 1200. That'll give you, you know, 5G, up to 5G on Wi-Fi. It's pretty good. Or the one I did choose for the basket is this Hero One dual band wireless Wi-Fi card. It's very good. It does support up to 867 megs, and it does have the 5G in it. And in my experience, you know, when this thing is plugged in into your PCI Express lane, it just works better than a USB adapter Wi-Fi. But not to say that the USB Wi-Fi adapters don't work good either. They do work good, but this is just, you know, I recommend this one here. And again, that's not necessary if you already have something instead. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Now let's finish this up in the car, and I'll show you the final prices here. Okay, here it is. That's our grand total here, $538 with that Wi-Fi card that I mentioned, and that really depends on if you want it. Now, something I wanted to mention, in my opinion, it's definitely worth opening up a Micro Center Insider's credit card, because you will get 5% off every single purchase. No, it's not for your first purchase when you open it. It's on every single purchase, and you do save quite a lot. So this will be your price with the Wi-Fi card, and if you take the Wi-Fi card off, I think we were at 588 or so, 488. I mean, and that's under 500, and that's crazy. That's a crazy deal. You can't beat it. Everything brand new. I mean, you come home, you got everything you need. You can't go wrong with that. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So let's take a look at the basket again. This is what I was talking about. Once it's in the basket, it automatically takes the $20 off the motherboard. As you remember, it was $72.99. Once it's together here, automatically takes the 20 out. If you went for the other higher motherboard choices, it would have been $59.99. So it's like an $8 difference. Something to think about. I just really wanted to keep it, and these are all the parts. So, for instance, this is, an iffy. If you don't really need a Wi-Fi card, a lot of people don't. You could just remove that. And I just want to give you that new price. There it is, $488 with the card, with a discount. Also, your tax may vary. I think this is a pretty high tax state here. Your other state might be less, so you'll save money there. So, yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. I hope this guide was helpful. Please leave any comments down below, and I will make some other videos on different builds. I'm gonna see if we could game even on cheaper, like $400 gaming PC or something around that neighborhood, or we could always go up 100 or two. It really depends. There's so many options. So thank you for watching, and have a good day.